Three amazing fragrances that you should be wearing this Valentine's Day. There's still a little bit of time. You can pick up one of these fragrances or perhaps even gift one of these fragrances. I think all of these are wonderful and quite fitting for the occasion. So in today's Cephalabon contributor video, I'm going to be sharing with you the three fragrances in today's co-curated list between myself and Michelin Kamen. I'm also going to let you know why I really enjoy all of these fragrances and why I would personally recommend them. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these three amazing fragrances for Valentine's Day, why I enjoy them, why I think they're so good, and why I would personally recommend them for you or a loved one, a significant other, a romantic interest, so on and so forth, I do want to jump into the video first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, perfume reviews, top 10s, giveaways, unboxings, interviews with perfumers, creative directors, all that good stuff, please do consider supporting the channel by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and giving this video a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. And of course, you have the opportunity to participate in a giveaway. It is a Cephalabon contributor video after all. So all you have to do is follow the first link down below in the description box. And if you've done this before, you should already be a registered reader. So the only thing you have to do is just drop a comment on the article. Make sure it's a thoughtful comment. I really want to hear from you. I do read through the comments and I really appreciate your participation. At the end of the day, you can go home with a bottle. Just make sure to check back on over to cephalabon.com on the date that's mentioned in the article, because that's when the winner is going to be announced. So we want to make sure that if you're the winner, you can claim your prize. Okay, so let's go ahead and start things off with a fragrance that I think epitomizes Valentine's Day. It's quite romantic. It is a little bit feminine leaning, although of course a lot of people would argue and suggest that there's no gender in perfumes. According to traditional standards, I would say this one is a bit feminine leaning. And this one is actually quite wonderful. There's pomegranate, red berries, white chocolate, pink rose. Just that combination of ingredients alone puts you in the mindset of Valentine's Day. It's romantic, it's floral, it's sensual, it's illustrious, it's beguiling. I know I often use the same adjectives when I'm describing this one, but truth be told, you have to call a spade a spade. This fragrance definitely conjures up these feelings and thoughts and emotions. And of course, by Navitus Parfums, this one is called Amour Infinite. Now, of course, this was a collaboration with Aisha from the channel AI the Great. And right away, you do get that beautiful pink rose, and it's so elegant, romantic, sensual, and inviting. And I'm telling you, this is such a beautiful fragrance to consider if you're looking for something to gift that special someone, especially if it happens to be a lady or somebody who has a penchant for floral perfumes. Now, here's the thing. The chocolate in this one is not very sweet. So if you're worried about this one leaning a little bit too much in a gourmand direction, there are certainly many others from the brand that are quite gourmand leaning. This is not necessarily one of them. Of course, you have Baklava Royale, you have Chocolate Queen, you have Imperial, you have so many gourmand offerings from Navitus Parfums. This one, on the other hand, has a really nice balance of that smooth, velvety chocolate serving as an undercurrent and a base to the composition, but it's really all about the pomegranate, the red berries, and the pink rose that's in here that's really creating this romantic, sensual, come hither vibe. And I just think this is a beautiful fragrance. And this is the most recent release in collaboration with Aisha. If you haven't tried this one, it would be a very strong recommendation on my part to check this one out. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, moving on with the list, there is a tried and true fragrance that I'm going to include in here. It's one that I've spoken about on my channel many a time in the past. My goodness, I think I purchased my bottle back in like 2012, 2013. It was one of the first four fragrances. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first four fragrances that I purchased from this brand. And of course, the brand is Tom Ford. As soon as I mention it and you think chocolate, there are potentially two fragrances that come out or come to mind, with one of them being Black Orchid, because that does have like this Mexican chocolate ingredient, but it's not Black Orchid in the case of this list. It's actually Noir de Noir. Now, this is one where the chocolate, the patchouli, and it's really the patchouli that gives it a bit of a chocolatey vibe. And here's the thing, patchouli at times can be very dry and earthy, sometimes herbal, sometimes it could be quite soily, especially if there's another aroma molecule that is added into the mix known as geosmin or even soil tincture. That's not necessarily happening in here. It's the patchouli itself that's very chocolatey, very warm, very sensual, a bit on the earthy side of things, but it still possesses enough of that sweetness. And of course, there's also rose, chocolate and roses. I mean, if there are any two ingredients that are gonna remind you of Valentine's Day, I would imagine it's chocolate and roses. And this one is just so romantic. As a matter of fact, I think I've worn this on a Valentine's Day in the past. And so inevitably, I'm going to make that association, but it's absolutely beautiful. And of course, it's a private blend, and these are a bit on the pricey side of things. If you look around online, you can find it for a good price, but this is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance from Tom Ford. And like I said, it was one of the first Ford that I ever acquired. Of course, there's Oud Wood and Tobacco Vanille. And of course, there's Neroli Portofino, and Tuscan Leather was one of the first that I ever purchased. I think Tobacco Vanille was actually the first Tom Ford private blend that I ever purchased, but this one is so, so, so good. If you've never tried Noir de Noir, and I know with the slew and the onslaught of recent releases, it's hard to talk about this one as often as I used to, and or it can easily be overlooked, is what I'm saying, especially with Costa Azzurra and, you know, a lot of the newer releases, especially the ones that have come out in the signature line. But this one is absolutely one worth checking out. Please do not miss the opportunity to sample this one. And of course, you can sample these at ScentSplit or whatever, but please, please, please check this one out. I'm telling you, it's an amazing, amazing fragrance. And of course, this is one where longevity is not an issue. So I do want to comment a little bit on the longevity. This one is an eau de parfum. Here we have an extrait de parfum, 10 plus hours for this one. And although the expectation, generally speaking, is that with an eau de parfum, you're going to get in the vein of 8 hours, not the case with this one. This one is also 10 plus hours longevity, especially if you're spraying it on a cotton fabric or clothing. Again, make sure that it's not a light colored fabric, or else this will stain, especially if you've had your bottle for a while and it's been left to macerate and all of these things. But the longevity is not an issue. Let's talk about the perfume that is in the #1 spot. Again, I've had a bottle of this for a number of years. I've had the opportunity to meet the perfumer on a number of occasions, and he is such an amazing individual. So his name is Christophe Laudamiel, and he's done everything from Polo Blue. He has his own line called The Zoo. He's a very accomplished perfumer. He's such a nice guy, very down to earth. And again, I spoke to him a couple months back at Scent Explore in New York City, and he and I had a one-on-one chat, and I spoke to him about my late friend Carlos, and you know, he remembers him quite well as well. And so it was really nice and really heartwarming to have that, you know, one-on-one conversation with him. And I'm not trying to get emotional right now, but he's such an amazing individual. So this one does not have rose. The floral ingredient in this one is actually orris. So it does have a bit of a waxy tendency, but there's also dark chocolate in here with a hint of agarwood. And believe it or not, there's an absinthe accord. So you have wormwood / artemisia that is used in the synthesis of an absinthe accord. And this one is like amazing. I'm telling you, this one is really, really good. If you have the chance to try this one, please, please, please try this one. I know it's on the pricey side of things, and that's on account of the quality of the raw materials. So these are very expensive raw materials, and I can tell, not just in this release, but in the other releases from this brand as well, they're very rich, they're very long lasting, they have that resolute character about them. And this one, not forget 10 plus hours, 12, 14, 16 plus hours. This stuff is super, super strong. So even if you invest in this small bottle, a little bit goes a long way. And again, keeping in mind dark chocolate, an inoffensive oud, albeit a high quality oud, orris, absinthe with some other spices thrown into the mix like nutmeg, which adds a layer of smoothness to the composition. This one by Strangelove NYC is called Melt My Heart. Now the name alone should remind you of Valentine's Day. Melt My Heart. This is very romantic, pardon me. I don't know why I pronounced it that way, but it also has like this genial nature about it. It's not a bold, aggressive fragrance, even though you read the ingredients and it's like, ooh, oud and spices. And is this one gonna be a little bit daring or envelope pushing? Not really, not necessarily. This is a beautiful, warm, genial, sensual, yet unique fragrance, right? And if roses and chocolate is a little bit of an expected DNA, you can go with something unexpected or unconventional with Melt My Heart by Strangelove NYC. It is such a beautiful fragrance. I know it's pricey. Again, sample it if you can. It is worth your time, and in my humble opinion, it is worth the investment. Again, 2-3 sprays are gonna last you the entire day. Melt My Heart by Strangelove NYC. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. And I sincerely hope that you took something of value from today's episode. And listen, if you did, once again, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting the channel by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and giving this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would mean the world to me. And again, participate in the giveaway. You have the chance to win a bottle. Just follow the first link down below in the description box. It's a very easy process, and I have my fingers crossed for you. So thanks again for watching. I love you all. Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.